Traditional education is so wrong. They're teaching you to be mediocre, get good grades, get a good job, be like the rest of us. Terrible idea. What's up, fruitful investors? In today's video, I want to talk about how I have $3 million in debt and how I am so screwed. It's not even funny. I mean, who can come back from having $3 million in debt? It's absolutely impossible, right? Now, before I talk about my brokenness, let's talk about a very important thing. All debt is bad. That's what we're taught, right? Over and over again in school, in our life. Now, I know you've heard this before. You're probably thinking, man, here's another guy talking about how all debt is bad. No, I want you to think about this for a second. It is so programmed into our brains unconsciously every single day that you might not even realize that you're being programmed to dislike debt. Now, you got to get over that, because if you want to get wealthy or rich or whatever, you need to use debt to your advantage. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I really want you to think about how we're just bombarded with this idea that all debt is bad. The government is spending too much money. We're so in debt. Ontario is the most indebted region in the whole world. That's where I live, Ontario, Canada. You know, the banks are crashing. Real estate prices are going to crash because everybody's in so much debt. Now, that is partly true, but not everybody who has debt is going to go bankrupt or die. Now, there's two kinds of debt: consumer debt versus what I like to call strategic debt. Now, we've all know what consumer debt. Consumer debt is things like credit cards, car payments, your mortgage payments, your payments on your fancy boat or your second vacation home, clothes, you're buying on your credit cards. All that kind of crap is bad debt. It's crap. You want to avoid spending too much money on those things, and you certainly don't want to let your consumer debt outpace your income. Okay, that's the worst thing that can happen. But a lot of people are spending so much money on consumer debt versus the very, very, very few people who use strategic debt, using debt to their advantage. I'll talk about that in a second. But if you really want to get ahead in this life, have money, have wealth to do what you want when you want, you need to start doing what the rich people are doing. Stop hating on rich people. They're not that bad. Everybody lumps rich people into one category. They're all dicks, they're all assholes. They must have screwed someone to get that money. That is bullshit. I know a lot of rich, wealthy people, and I can tell you right now, they're all much better people in their moods and their attitudes than broke people. I know a lot of broke people, and there are a lot of assholes in that category. Almost every single rich and wealthy person I know is a fantastic person. They want to elevate others. They want to help others. They're helping others with their money. They're doing way more good in the world than broke people. So get that out of your head, that broke people are bad. You want to jump over to the strategic debt and start doing what the wealthy are doing. If you can't beat them, join them. In this case, it is definitely a positive route to take. For example, I own over $4 million in income producing real estate by age 29. So that's where my $3 million in debt comes from. You take away my million plus in profit, there's my $3 million in debt in mortgages. But this strategic debt is making me money every single month. This strategic debt, this real estate debt, is paying for itself and above every single month. So I'm making money on that debt every single month. You see what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't have to always be real estate. This is a real estate investing specific channel, but you can do this by investing in businesses or building businesses or buying stocks or mutual funds. Whatever your thing is, I personally think real estate investing is the best course of action. In fact, the majority of millionaires and billionaires in this world made most of their money in real estate. That should tell you something. It ain't Bitcoin. It's not businesses in tech yet. That's relatively new. It's not businesses general. It is real estate. Now, again, it's not the only way to make money, but if so many people have done it over and over again for thousands of years, it's a time and tested strategy, which I will just copy. I also have natural talents of exceeding in real estate, so it made perfect sense for me to do real estate, okay? So one thing I want to talk about real quick is that traditional education is so wrong. Going back to all debt is wrong. This is where this whole thing came from, is the public school system, even the private school system, colleges, universities, Harvard, all these fancy schools. A lot of them still talk that debt is bad. You want to get a job. You want to get good grades so you can get a good job so you can be broke like the rest of us. That's the hidden message with traditional schooling. And I have a really big problem with it because just the way I grew up in my school, I knew that I wasn't going to excel to college or universities. And I still remember to this day in grade 12, we were having to fill out a form to let our school counselors and our school teachers know what our plans were going into grade 12 so they could maybe tailor a plan to help us, after high school. And I remember this day, there was a check mark, college, university, or other. Okay, now that pissed me off and left a really big mark on me because I knew I wasn't going to go to college or education or college or university, not because I was terrible at academics. If I wanted to, I could do well in school. If I want to do well in anything, I can do well in anything that I want, right? So can you. I just knew that college and university wasn't really for me. It wasn't where I fit. Construction at that time or other was where I wanted to be. And I still remember that, just leaving a big mark on me. It really pissed me off. And how the education system really pushes and diminishes, hands-on work or building businesses or self-education, which is so important. I can't stress that enough. If you get one thing from this video, you need to self-educate, even if you're going down the route of traditional schooling because you want to be a lawyer or a teacher or a police officer or a dentist or a medical doctor. These are jobs where if you want to be those, you have to, without a doubt, you have to go to those because that's the rules they set. If you want to play in this game, you need to do X, Y, and Z before you can play. That's the way those industries are set up. However, if you don't want to do those traditional jobs and you want to be a photographer or a social media manager or a real estate investor or a business owner, do not go to traditional schooling, please. Self-educate. The amount of money it costs to go to traditional schooling is outrageous. We're talking $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, especially if you live in the US. I feel really bad for you. Your schools are insanely expensive. Imagine you took 30 grand a year and you paid a coach and some other coaches around you. 30 grand would go so far and you'd be talking directly to high-level players, not mediocre professors who are just as broke as you are. Okay, so that's my thing. Traditional education is so wrong. They're teaching you to be mediocre, get good grades, get a good job, be like the rest of us. Terrible idea. You want to go in the opposite direction, which is what I did. Everybody went to school. I knew it wasn't really right. I wasn't that smart at age 19, but I knew something wasn't right. Something wasn't right with university or college. I went the other direction, and by 28 years old, I was a millionaire in real estate. And believe me, I didn't do anything overly fancy or smart. I did it pretty slow. I started at age 22. I bought like 1, 2, 3 properties a year. Now I'm buying up to 3 or 4 a year. There are still real estate investors who are crushing me, who are buying 10, 20 properties a year or more. I'm only buying like 3, 4, 5, 6 properties a year, and I've already reached the millionaire status by age 28. Now I'm going for multi-millionaire, and by age 35, I will be retired, living in Costa Rica on the beach. I promise you that, living a good life. That is my goal, and I did it all with no education, no professors, no debt. That is the big thing I want to get to you. The whole system is wrong, man. If you want to get wealthy and rich, get comfortable with debt and start using strategic debt to your advantage. If you like this video, if you learned anything, please click like right below. To find out about getting access to my 12 free video series where I teach you how to invest in real estate from A to Z, I'll give you all the details on how to invest in real estate. Click on the link right below. If you want to partner with me and join my real estate investing apprenticeship program where me and you buy real estate one-on-one and I'm your real estate coach, you can find out more about that right about here. I will see you in the next video.